Romano, and I just teach people how they could get started selling things on Amazon FBA, and also how you can learn about credit to repair your own credit to eventually get business funding for either Amazon or any other businesses that you're interested in. And today, I just want to show you guys how you could get started with your credit profile if you currently don't have one or your credit is messed up and you're trying to fix it. This is going to be a good video for either of those people. I'm going to be talking about like secured credit cards and authorized users and how you could eventually get this first credit card that I'll be showing you guys at the end of the video. In my opinion, it's one of the best beginner credit cards and one of the best banks to build a relationship with. So it's super important. If you're not familiar with credit, in my opinion, credit is like one of the most important like sectors of your life. You can't really buy a house, a car, an apartment, almost anything without credit. And it's super important to just have good credit. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So first off, we're either going to be looking at trying to get an authorized user if your credit is already messed up, or if you're a little bit younger, 18, 19 years old, 20 years old, and you don't have any credit cards yet, I'm definitely going to recommend to get the Discover It secured credit card. So what this is, if your credit isn't already messed up, I'd recommend going for this. And how this works is it's a credit card, but it's a little different in terms of the way you get your credit limit. You have to put down a deposit of, let's say, $500, and you have to pay off the monthly payments on that card anytime you use it. And after the 6th month, they're going to give you back that deposit. And basically what that is, it's kind of like a security deposit. They just want to make sure that you're not going to run up this card and not pay it back and just leave them with the debt. So how it works is, for example, you put down that $500 deposit. Every month you pay off the card in full. At the end of the 6 months, they give you back that $500, and that $500 is now your starting credit limit. Just to give you guys an example, I got this card about 4 years ago. My first limit was $500. I asked for a credit limit increase to $2,500. Then they gave me another increase to $3,500, and now another increase to $5,500. So my total credit limit with this card, my first credit card, was $5,500. Not bad. And then if your credit is messed up, you're going to want to get an authorized user. And one authorized user, it's basically someone that's been given permission by the primary account holder to make card purchases, but they're not legally responsible for making payments. So what this looks like is basically you're going to want to find a family member's account or your friend's account or whoever's account that they can add you to. And basically it will look like you have that credit card reporting to your file, even though it's not your credit card. So for example, if your mom has a $20,000 limit with a Chase Inc. business card, let's say, if she adds you as an authorized user, that credit card will show up on your profile and it will look like you have a $20,000 limit. The main thing is with these, you want to make sure whoever you get your authorized user from, they have low utilization. So under 10% utilization, if the card has a $20,000 limit, you want them to have under a $2,000 balance on it. And you want to make sure that they're paying off the card in full every month. Ideally, you want to get an authorized user that has 0% utilization. That would look the best. And as far as credit age, you want to make sure that your AU is minimum 5 years old. The older, the better, but minimum 5 years old. And if you're in a situation where you don't know anyone in your circle that has good credit, or you can't get access to anyone that has a card that could add you as an authorized user, look into TradeLineGenie.com, and they basically sell trade lines and authorized users that you could add to your account, and they'll stay on your account for 30 to 90 days. So it'll give you enough time to be able to apply for your own card and hopefully get approved. And then after those 30 to 90 days, those trade lines fall off your report. So these are like 3 options to basically get your credit journey started. And once I do this, I'd move on to step 2, which is open a personal checking account with Chase. So just find a Chase Bank near you, go in person and set up a account and try and connect some type of direct deposit to it, either your job, or if you sell on eBay or Amazon, connect your direct deposit to this bank account to start seasoning the account. Because the way these banks work, they want to see deposits coming into the account, kind of to prove that like you're going to be like a reputable customer. Obviously, the more money you have in the account, the better they're going to look at you. But with that being said, you could literally start with just depositing like $100 in the account at a time. Depositing some money in the account is way better than not depositing any money in the account. I say just make a bank account with Chase, because they are kind of like the top tier bank in terms of like the amount of funding they'll give you. So, and as well as customer service. I just like Chase across the board. So definitely make it a goal to get in relationship with Chase. Bank accounts, credit cards, just build a good relationship with Chase, and whatever you do not soil that relationship. Make sure any Chase cards you get, you make sure you're paying off. Do not mess up a relationship with Chase. And then step 3, everyone isn't going to be able to do this, but if you can, I highly recommend to start banking and getting Navy Federal Credit Union products. Now, the only caveat with this is that you're going to need a family member that's in the military. So you either need someone that was in the military or someone that served in the military in the day, but you're going to need someone that is in the military or has served to get a Navy Federal account. And if you could get the Navy Federal account, then you should open up a pledge loan. And basically what the pledge loan is they let you open up a loan amount, and it looks like they report it as a trade line. So for example, they opened up this loan amount for $1,500, and their interest rate was only 2.25%. So what I recommend with this is you open up a pledge loan for whatever amount you feel comfortable with. You're going to be getting this money back once you pay it off. So keep that in mind. So I would make a pledge loan with Navy Fed and pay it off about 90%. So I'd pay off like $1,400 of this $1,500. You'll get back that $1,400 once you pay it off. And what they're going to do every month is report this to TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian as a loan that is getting paid off. So this is going to look really good on your credit profile, especially when you're rebuilding everything. And essentially, you're not going to have to really pay any interest because you're paying off 90% of the loan up front. So if you can, try and get in the door with Navy Fed. They have unbelievable personal credit cards, business credit cards, and auto loans. So like I said, you need to have a family member that is in the military or previously served in the military. So try and look into that and get in touch with Navy and open up a pledge loan with them. And if you can't get in with Navy, this is option number 2, another credit builder loan. This is from Self Credit Builder. So basically how this works, you get approved for a loan, you set aside the amount of money you want to borrow, and then you begin making monthly payments. The lender reports these payments to all of the bureaus, so it looks like you're paying off a loan. And when the balance is paid in full, you get the money back minus any interest and fees. So this is basically the same thing as a pledge loan with Navy Fed, except this is a company called Self Credit Builder. And if you guys look here, basically how it works is you pay $25 a month for 24 months, and you end up paying a total of $600. You get back $520. You end up paying $90 for this loan to show up on your credit profile. And this is super, super important because you need new trade lines just to come up on your credit profile so these banks see that you're at least trying to rebuild your credit. And these credit builder loans work unbelievable compared to if you're not doing them at all. So along with having these credit builder loans, you want to kind of have at least 3 of these. So have a credit builder loan, a pledge loan, a mortgage, a personal loan, a car loan, a student loan, just so the banks could see that you're consistently paying stuff off. So before we get to the card, I just want to go over what makes up your credit score, kind of like what's the most important. So I'll start with like what's the most important off the bat. One of the most important things is payment history. You need to make sure you're paying off these cards 3 days before your due date, because then if you pay them 3 days before your due date, they will report to each bureau as 0% utilization. And that is just going to help with your overall credit score, because if the banks see that you have low utilization, they're like, your credit score is just going to be automatically higher. And to parlay into that, about a third of your credit profile is the amount of debt you owe. So you need to keep your utilization under 30% ideally. So if you have $100,000 in credit limits across all your cards, ideally you want to keep them under 30,000 across all the cards. Really hurt your credit. So payment history and like the amount of debt owed is probably like the most important. And then next up would be new accounts. So you don't want to make too many new accounts at one time, because it makes the banks think that you're like hungry for credit. So I recommend basically every 3 to 6 months you apply for no more than like 3 or 4 cards. And to get approved for funding in general, you ideally need to have over a 700 credit score, no derogatory marks, so no late payments, no collections, no bankruptcies, no charge-offs, under 10% utilization or less. And this is for funding, to keep in mind. At least 3 primary accounts and under 3 inquiries in the last 6 months. So this is like the ideal stack for getting approved for cards. And then this is all of the stuff that makes up your credit score. And now I'm going to go into what I think is the best credit card to get if you are a beginner, because one, this card has 0% interest for 15 months. And 2, it's with Chase. So you're building your relationship with Chase right off the bat, and there's no annual fee. This card totally changed my life when I got it a few years ago. It was like the first card I got after the Discover It secured credit card that gave me like an actual good limit. I got a $5K limit off the rip, and it helped me to just start building my relationship with Chase. They also have a 20,000 point sign up bonus, which is probably equivalent to like $200 to $500, which is super, super cool. But the main thing is the 0% interest for 15 months. I usually recommend business credit cards because they don't report to the personal side, but you can't get any business credit cards if your personal profile isn't in check. So I definitely recommend trying to get the Chase Freedom Unlimited personal credit card off the rip for all the reasons that I listed before this. And essentially, this is how you can get started with your credit profile in 2025. This is the best way to do it, in my opinion. And basically, if you need any help either fixing your credit or getting access to this capital with my help from my team, you could click the link in the description below and book a call to see if you could qualify, to see if we could help with credit repair, or if we could help you with business funding and just pointing you in the right direction. And as always, if you want to use any of the business funding you currently have to get into Amazon FBA and learn how you could start turning your credit into cash with Amazon, also book a call in the description to see if we could work together. As always, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe if you liked the video. Drop any comments if you got any feedback and or questions. And thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Peace.